Today we're going to be rebuilding one of the most interesting teams in the NBA, the Atlanta Hawks. It feels like ever since the Trae Young era started, this team has tried to be like a Warriors facsimile, and then centers returned, Giannis came on, and all of a sudden that team building strategy, not quite as good. Also Trae Young, never quite as good as Steph. Last season, Jalen Johnson came on as kind of a reliable wing defensive type guy. DeAndre Hunter never really panned out. He's just kind of a mediocre 3-and-D wing, in my opinion. Last season, the Hawks were an absolute defensive disaster class. And I mean, that all starts with Trae Young. Trae Young is probably the worst perimeter defender in the NBA, but we are going to try to build around him. I think the real way to build around this team is create like a facsimile of like the 01 Sixers, last year's Knicks, just a super defensive team built around a floor-raising offensive guard. So let's get rid of Capella. It seems like he's really not part of the plans anyway, and I also feel like Capella's going to have a lot of value. A lot of teams need dive bigs like Clint Capella right now. And whoa, Jared Allen. Hi. I don't know why the Cavs would ever do this. I don't think the Cavs would do this. Is such an unrealistic trade. We're not going to take it. The trade we are going to take is Cam Johnson, another 3-and-D type archetype player. I know I feel like we already have a little too many of these, but I think this is the move because I want to get us a proper big man, and Clint Capella is not the guy. I feel like the rebuild mode is easier than ever with some of the trades 2K be thrown out at you. Like OG Anunoby, I would love that, but the Knicks are not doing that. But this trade to get Zubac, now Zubac is on a long-term contract, but he is a reliable center. Probably not the best fit next to Trae Young, but we've got Ricochet to fill in the 100 minutes. So we're going to make this trade as well, giving up the first round pick, but I don't think it's going to be very good. All right, we're going to play through Trae Young. We're going to limit transition, and we're going to try to crash the defensive glass, try to be a really good possession team. We got to shore up the defense. That's going to be the goal this first season. To start our first season, we're going to go with Trae Young, Bogdanovich, Ricochet, Jalen Johnson, and Okongwu. A little undersized, but theoretically some 3-and-D wing type stuff going on with Jalen Johnson and Ricochet. I say theoretically because Jalen Johnson's okay at shooting threes. He's not quite there yet. Ricochet is kind of in the same boat. And then off the bench, we got Zubac, Powell, and Cam Johnson. Dyson Daniels, 21. I probably should give him some run. We're going to give him a little bit of run too. Going to play a 9-man rotation. And I think this team actually has a good shot to hopefully avoid the play-in. Like, hopefully we're not battling for a play-in spot. This year we have the Lakers first round pick, which is not going to be good, a top 10 protected Kings pick, which is not going to be very good, and we don't have any draft picks in 2026. So there's really no reason for us to tank. We honestly have to try to build up from the middle. That's why I think the Hawks are such a fascinating team. I didn't really understand a lot of the team building they had been doing in the past. Like the DeJounte Murray was like the most obvious, this is not going to go anywhere move I feel like I've seen. And so far my team identity that I've built up for this Hawks team is not so good. We are 7-8. Hovering around 500, pretty much where we were last year. I just got offered De'Aaron Fox for Trae Young straight up. Wow. I'm more of a De'Aaron Fox guy, but since we're doing a Hawks rebuild, we're going to decline that. But that was, I don't understand. I feel like the 2K sim engine is just, it's a little off the wall this year, a little bit crazy. Okay, so here at the trade deadline, we're 26-25, one game over 500, conference rank 7, which means we're currently in the play-in, tied with the Brooklyn Nets. Our defense is like middle of the road in the conference, and our offense is 4th. So if I can get one of those numbers to go up by like a little bit, we're actually think we're gonna jump pretty high. So of all the players who get regular minutes in our lineup, Cam Johnson and Trae Young are kind of like the worst in terms of an on-off performance perspective. And our bench, Dyson Daniels, Zubac, Powell, all these guys have the best. So we're really winning these games because of our bench. I feel like Cam Johnson is not really going to be a big part of this team's future. And Dyson Daniels is actually kind of playing really well to the point where I want to keep him. 6'7" point guard with size. I like the sound of that. See if we can move on from Cody Zeller as well. Ooh, all right. So this is a really interesting trade. Cam Johnson, Cody Zeller, and a first round pick though for Rashawn Holmes and Mitchell Robinson. I kind of like this trade, but like an unprotected first round pick is a little crazy. Like maybe let's put some protections on that thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to do this trade without the pick. They'll offer us a pick swap. That's not really good value. We need more than that. They're countering with Sacramento's pick and a second round pick, but we get the first round best of them in Philly. Oh man, this is a really complicated deal, but let's do it. So now I've got 3 centers on the team. Okongwu is got a 77 3-point shot. That's not bad. And it'll let me play way bigger. The team is exhausted because we were playing a shortened rotation, but we can do Trae Young, Powell, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, Mitchell Robinson. So we're upping our size, hopefully upping our defense. Dropping Rishashe out of the starting lineup, I don't think will hurt our offense that much. Off the bench, then we've got Zubac, Rishashe, Bogdanovic, and Dyson Daniels. I definitely feel like this makes us a better defensive team, and I honestly think it could help our offense as well. So let's see how that goes. But before we do that, we are going to sign Jalen Johnson to a contract extension. I don't want to overpay. Let's see if he'll take this. Yes. Okay, so we just got Jalen Johnson on a great contract. We're just going to go to the end of the season where hopefully we are better than we have been. All right, we finished 45 and 37. Luka Doncic was the MVP. Rishashe, our boy, rookie of the year, 14 points on okay shooting. No All-NBA team for Trae Young. Honestly, that's kind of a concerning thing. I feel like if Trae Young can't make an All-NBA team, given that the whole team is kind of built around him, I feel like that does not bode well for us, to the point where it kind of gives me the liberty to trade him, because what that's telling me is he is not that guy for our team. And we've got the Philadelphia 76ers here in round 1. I definitely feel like this is a team we can beat. All right, here we go. The Philadelphia 76ers simulating the round. We win. We won 4-2. So we upset the Sixers again, even though they don't have Ben Simmons messing things up for them this time. All right, Trae Young versus the New York Knicks. They got Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby. I mean, this Knicks team is stacked. I will say, though, they're playing Randall at the 5 because they traded Mitchell Robinson to the Wizards, who we then traded for. This is a really small team. With good shooting, though, with very good shooting with Randall at the 5. I gotta say, that's defensively, this could be a scary matchup for us, but I like how much size advantage we have over them. Usually the Hawks do not have a size advantage over most teams they play against. All right, I don't know how this Knicks series is gonna go. They're so well-rounded. They beat us in game 1. They beat us in game 2. We beat them in Atlanta. We tied up in Atlanta. Can we steal 1 in New York? We steal 1 in New York. Oh, it's going to a game 7 here in New York City. Oh my gosh. And we are not looking good here. Back and forth game. I think the Knicks are pulling away here. I mean, that Knicks team is... Ooh. Oh, we're down by 10. That Knicks team is really good. But honestly, I feel pretty good about this first season. The fact that we made it to the second round of the playoffs makes me pretty happy. And the Pacers are in the finals versus the Warriors. And the Warriors win. Stephen Curry, ring number 5, passes LeBron James, who just retired. So we have no shot at the lottery here, but the Pelicans win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, and the Thunder is going to get our guy. I'm just going to see what Trae Young's value is. The only problem with trading Trae Young is it's going to completely change the way we've built out the roster, because right now it's built completely around him. We got offered Tyrese Maxey, but I'd have to give up a first-round pick. I wish... But I don't know if we can build a title contender around Tyrese Maxey, who we just beat. So we're going to stick with the team for now. I would love to find a way to get into that draft, though. All right, so we're going to bring back Dyson Daniels, and we're going to bring back Kobe Buffkin, who really has not done anything as a part of this rebuild. So in this offseason, we've got Norman Powell and we've got Bogdanovic. They're both 32 years old. They're both around 80 overall. I would love to find a way to upgrade that position. And I'm honestly getting decent offers for these guys, but nothing that screams like amazing to me. I mean, Rudy Gobert is really interesting. Holmes I'm getting rid of. Buffkin's not really a part of the future. Norman Powell is not a part of my future either. For on a 1-year deal, getting a defender like this, I kind of like it. Let's do it. It's going to give me some versatility to make some other moves with my centers because I have a lot of centers now. Kongwu's a keeper. M-Rob, Jenny Advia, and Robert Williams. Look at this trade 2K just offered me. Kobe White for Zubac and Bogdanovic. Kobe White is 25. I would take that trade, but it's just so unrealistic that I can't. Like, what is this trade 2K? Why would the Grizzlies... Well, they need a big... Brandon Ingram. I don't like Brandon Ingram, though. Especially not on that contract. All right, and the Warriors are willing to give me this trade. I don't know why, fresh off a championship, they want this. Maybe they feel like they need a center. But I don't really want that either. All right, so Memphis is interested in moving on from both GG Jackson and Desmond Bane. Confusing trade for Memphis, but I am giving up some draft capital. We're going to take this trade. And now the team is in a really, really interesting spot. Gobert is our big expiring salary, which will hopefully get us involved in free agency next year. Maybe, probably not. But we have depth at every position. I really like the way the team is positioned right now. We go 9 deep with 80 overall players. Trae Young is down to an 89 overall, though. Trae Young's also an expiring, but I don't really know if we're a free agent destination. So here in year 2, Trae Young, Desmond Bane, Rishashe, Okongwu, Gobert. I think our defense will be okay. I mean, guard-wise, Bane and Young are a bit undersized. Definitely Young is undersized. I'm just worried about our offense. I don't think our offense is really going to be good enough. So I don't know if I'm going to go all the way to the trade deadline. I'm honestly going to parse this out. Let's go to Christmas. We're not even important enough to play on Christmas, but let's go to Christmas and see if the team is halfway decent. So on Christmas Day, we're 23-6. Really good turnaround. Number 1 in the power rankings. Number 1 in the conference standings. Number 2 in the overall standings. 3rd in points per game. 2nd in defense. We are really good. We have a crazy good 15-point differential. So if there was ever a year to go all in, it would be this year. And I actually have a lot of salary cap room, but that's because Gobert isn't expiring. Trae Young is a player option. You know what? 15-point differential after 30 games. We're really good. I'm going to simulate the rest of the season. And honestly, I feel like we have to win because Gobert is getting old. So this might be the last great Gobert defense season, but we will see what happens in the playoffs. All right, Doncic wins the MVP again. Cooper Flag is Rookie of the Year. Jalen Johnson, though, our boy, 6th Man of the Year. And we went 67-15. I mean, our team was really, really stacked. Yet we still didn't have an NBA first team. Trae Young finally made the All-NBA second team, and his morale is down because he lost the MVP. Trae had a great season, though. 27 points per game, almost 10 assists, great shooting numbers, best shooting numbers of his career. I mean, we put a good team around him. And we've got the Milwaukee Bucks as an 8 seed. What the heck? And they've still got Dame, they still got Middleton, they still got Giannis. Oh my goodness. Game 1, the Bucks beat us by 2. Game 2, we tie it up. Going to Milwaukee, they're up 2-1. 2-2. 3-2 us in Milwaukee. Okay, we closed them out in 6. That was scary. Now we've got the Raptors. The Raptors upset the New York Knicks. That's so good for us. And the Raptors got Quickly, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett. I mean, this team is mid. It's actually not that mid. It's just that they're not as good as us. I mean, this should be a 5-game series, but we're down 2-1. 2-2. All right, let's close it out in 6, boys, just like last series. Yep, there we go. All right, we've got the Chicago Bulls now. Jamal Murray, Ayo Dosunmu, Herb Jones, Pat Williams, and Vooch. Just a well-rounded team. Just a very well-rounded team. Zach LaVine off the bench. I mean, Zach LaVine as a 6th man. That's a pretty good role for him. Come on, man. We are 67-15. It's honestly a little surprising how undominant we've been in these playoffs. Like, we won in 6. 3 series in a row. Like, going into the finals, we're 12-6. We're not that much of a world beater team. Victor Wembanyama versus Trae Young in the NBA Finals. All right, here we go. Let's game plan this for sure. I don't really know what to do against the Spurs, to be honest. It's really just Victor. And honestly, in real life, Gobert did not do the greatest job against Victor, but we'll see what happens. All right, here we go. Game 1 against the San Antonio Spurs, who are the 3 seed in the West. We take game 1 by almost 40. We take game 2. Okay, this is headed for a sweep. 3-1. They won by 1 point. And we are the champions. We've built the Atlanta Hawks into title contenders. Trae Young is your finals MVP, 23-9. Not the most impressive stat line for a finals MVP we've seen, but we will gladly take that. A really well-balanced scoring effort. Desmond Bane and Rishashe also averaged 20 in the playoffs. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed this rebuild, click up here to watch me putting the NBA superstars into Madden to see if NBA players could play in the NFL. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.